Talking greatest hits. Everybody's got one. Some good, some bad. Some reasons I like them, some reasons I don't. I'm Chris. This is Late Night Dead Wax. Welcome back and thanks for checking out my channel. Today I want to talk about greatest hits. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of greatest hits. What I love about records is when they are a complete artistic expression, start to finish. I don't mean they have to be a concept album, but I kind of like when thought goes into track listings, order, all of that stuff. And you don't get that with greatest hits. You just get the bangers, which is why I love greatest hits. There's certain artists that I only need the greatest hits, but sometimes they were my big introduction to a band. So today I'm going to show you my favorites. I got 12 of them. Starting with a classic from 1983, Daryl Hall and John Oates. This is Rockin' Soul Part 1. It's got all of their best stuff from the 70s and 80s, and it really captures everything I like about Hall and Oates. And some of the albums, they kind of lose me. But this, all hits, all good stuff. And it says Part 1. I wish there was a Part 2, because they had some other really good stuff. And maybe there is a Part 2 and I'm not aware of it, but I've never seen it or heard of it. But I'm glad to have this one in my collection because it kind of covers all of the Daryl Hall and John Oates I need. Next, I have Frank Sinatra, Nothing But the Best. This was a 2021 Walmart exclusive release. I really could have went with any number of Sinatra greatest hits. I love Frank Sinatra, and to be able to get a record with the best of the best is good stuff. And I really dig this, and it is on this double record on this beautiful blue. And this is one of the things that another one of the things that I really enjoy about greatest hits when they're a record that from an artist like Frank Sinatra, where for me everything is golden. And this is a great record, great listen. And like I said, I could have pulled out any number. I think I have 3 Frank Sinatra greatest hits, but this is the one I picked because it's a double record. It pretty much covers everything. This one was an introduction record for me because this is how I was introduced to Aerosmith. Came out in 1980 and covered all of their 70s hits, and there's not a bad track on here. I own most of the full records, but for a listen, I mean, this, as far as the greatest hits goes, is awesome. There's obviously not a bad track on it, and Aerosmith, in my opinion, the best Aerosmith was the Aerosmith from the 70s, and this has it all. And mine is 1980 press, even with the nice price hype sticker on it. But yeah, introduction to Aerosmith, and I played this to death. I love this record. In the introduction, I talked about how I prefer complete albums. I like when there's a sense of thought that went into everything, from the track listing to the storytelling, everything. It's a complete work of art when done correctly. And a lot of times with a greatest hits, some of that kind of gets lost because it's just the hits. But then on the other side of that, there's times when I just want to hear the hits, and nobody had bigger hits than Prince. And I have both the hits 1 and hits 2, the creamy white from the Walmart for hits 2 and the Target for hits 1. These came out in 2022, and absolutely just a great listen because it's Prince, and you get nothing but the best. And I have all of the Prince records, but these are nice to go to. These are nice to put on, and sing along with every track. And just, I mean, it's Prince. You can't go wrong with Prince. And these could be my favorite greatest hits of all time. And it's two double records. So it doesn't even begin to cover the best of his work, but it definitely covers the hits. It's impossible to talk about greatest hits without talking about the Eagles, 1971 through 1975. This came out in 76, obviously covered the first 4 years of their career. This is one of the best selling albums of all time, and as it should be. This is a perfect example of a band that loses me on their records. I'm not a huge Eagles fan, but the ones that are good are great, and this puts them all together for me. And they have the second volume of this, which I also have. I could have shown that, but this one this is one of the best selling and a great one to have in your collection if you just like the Eagles hits, like me. Now I have The Cure. This is The Cure Greatest Hits. This isn't the one that I wanted. The one that I wanted is Standing on the Beach, the singles. I have not been able to get a clean, good, fair priced copy of it yet. So this will just have to do. I love The Cure, and obviously, just the bangers. It's a good record, but I'm still holding out hope for that other one. One of these days, and then this one can be retired. But I do play it, and I totally dig The Cure. And trying to track down all of their records is very difficult, but I shouldn't say difficult, very expensive. But this is a good way. They also have one acoustic hits that is greatest hits that is really good. They're kind of an underrated band as far as their musicianship, and it just the hits, you know. This is good stuff. Now I have Heart. This is their the greatest hits slash live. It's got some live tracks on it. This one came out in 1980, and I am a huge fan of Heart from the 80s, but I also love Heart from the 70s, and this covers all of the early Heart stuff, all in one. So I don't have to jump records. This covers it all, and the live tracks on here are amazing too. Um, like I said, 1980, so we don't get any of the stuff from self-titled and Bad Animals and so on. But this is a good record. It's an awesome greatest hits, especially since they throw the live stuff on there. The bonus stuff always makes a difference. If you're looking for Heart, this is good. White Stripes, greatest hits. My Sister Thanks You and I Thank You, which is one of the best titles for greatest hits, especially since we know that this came out in 2020 and we already knew that Meg was not Jack's sister. But this is a greatest hits record from them, and it's got all the good ones. One of the things that I can say about the White Stripes is I'm not crazy about their complete albums. I love Jack White stuff. His solo stuff is incredible. But to be able to have a compilation of the best is perfect for me when it comes to the White Stripes. This is a 2020 issue from Target, and it's well worth a spin. It's definitely one of my favorite greatest hits because it gives me a way to get all the White Stripes I want in one place without having to listen to some of the stuff I'm not crazy about. But like I said, I'm a huge Jack White fan, so this kind of captures the best of that. So now I have Cheap Trick authorized greatest hits. This one was a Walmart exclusive. It seems like a lot of the compilations like this I've picked up at Walmart or Target. Um, Not on purpose. That just seems to be a coincidence that that's where I buy greatest hits if I buy them. This one's on beautiful clear vinyl and sounds incredible. It's a really cool. I'm not really sure the reasoning behind the authorized greatest hits, but I do know that after watching a video that Melinda Murphy did where she talked about this, one of the things she pointed out was due to the constraints of vinyl as opposed to CD, the version of the flame that is on the vinyl record is different than the one that's on the CD. The CD apparently, I don't have it, but apparently it has an incredible live performance of it, where on this one we just get the single because they needed to make it fit. But I love Cheap Trick, and this even has some of the fun stuff. It's a good listen. And if I remember correctly, this was one of the ones that I grabbed when Walmart did their Black Friday $15 sale. And I mean, looking back, I would have paid full retail for it if had I known it was this good. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I absolutely love Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts. And the greatest hits from Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts is no disappointment and should be no surprise. I already had all these tracks. This just gives me a way to listen to them all at one time, where I dig everything Joan's done and listen to all the albums start to finish. But there's sometimes where you just want to grab a record, and this has them all. So I mean, and Sweet Red Vinyl, and this one, another Walmart exclusive. This this one had to be in my collection because I love Joan Jett. In reality, I already had all these tracks. It really just gives me another way to listen, and I'll buy anything Joan Jett sells. So all the way back to 1974 for this one. This is Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits. I was introduced to this in the early 80s, and this was really my first introduction to Alice Cooper. And it covers a lot of the Alice Cooper band stuff. It's really good. I've got tons of Alice Cooper records, but this one gives me all the early stuff. Like I said, came out in 74 and was my introduction to Alice Cooper. And man, it's such a classic, much like the Aerosmith for me, because it was my introduction. I didn't know that those songs were in a specific order on a specific album. I know a lot of these songs by the order that they are on the greatest hits, and I'm not ashamed of that. But Alice Cooper Greatest Hits, I really dig it. And my last one's a really fun one. This is a band, Little Big, out of Russia, and this is their greatest hits. Man, it's they call it the ungreatest shits, but man, it's a great record. They don't do a lot of stuff on vinyl, so I was pretty happy to get this one. It's a German pressing, and they classify their music as funeral rave, whatever that is. I just think it's a lot of fun. Kind of a novelty act, but still a lot of fun. I mean, they kind of cross the whole artistic thing. The music goes well with their videos. Their videos, you know, you think back to the videos when you hear the music, and it's just a cool spin. And I mean, it's a little big. You probably know them from the song "Skibby Dibby." That was huge, and they've had quite a few since then. This is a double record, 45 RPM. It sounds pretty cool, but it's one that I had to have in my collection. At work, we listened to Little Big a lot, and this was one I had to have. So the Little Big record is kind of how things got started on deciding to do this video. I was at work yesterday, and one of my friends, coworker, Basil, looked at me and said, "What are your top 5 greatest hits?" And I right away launched into, "Oh, I don't like greatest hits because," and I gave all the reasons. And at the end of the day, I realized, wait, there are a lot of greatest hits that I really enjoy. And a lot of these greatest hits I bought and I have. So when I sat down to do this, I thought, oh, I'll do 5. 5 will be easy. And then I hit 10. And then I added 2 honorable mentions, which I was like, I can't do honorable mentions. That would just be weird. So I did all 12. And all of these are fun records. All of them are records that do get played on the regular. And I don't know how everybody else feels about them, but that's how I feel about greatest hits. So what's your opinion? Let me know what you think about greatest hits. Drop it in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I don't know. I feel like I might have been missing one. Get it? One.